On our agenda today, we only have one item, and that first agenda item is discussion and possible action Topeka Metropolitan Transit Authority mill levy cap. So without further ado.
Thank you, Mr. Man Speaker. I have a quick handout to give everyone, so I'll bring it up. Yay. A copy of our current budget and so far a high-level budget that we are working on. Currently, last year, we had a mill levy of 4.2 mills. That's what we would ask for this year to come through the Policy and Finance Committee. Basically, that's just a cap that we cannot exceed that because we come back around through the budget process and then through the publication process this summer and through your budget, basically come up with what our final mill levy would be. But a proposed budget that we have currently for next year, and of course we've just started work on it, would assume, again, another 4.2 mills, which generates about $4.5 million. The big expenses that we have obviously are payroll, people sitting in the seats driving the buses. Our second biggest one outside of fuel and maintenance happens to be capital expense. Like I shared with you a couple of weeks ago, we have on line to replace about half of our fleet over the next couple of years. Unfortunately, with the way the federal contracts work, the way we have to purchase buses, it all drug out and it'll all be one big ticket. So basically, we've been saving our money for the last couple of years so we could afford all that at one time. So I'd entertain questions about anything that's going on at the Transit Authority in terms of the budget or things that we might be looking at or questions you might have.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Miller?
No, I appreciate the handout.
No, I had talked. The formula, whether it's the federal formula, whatever, but he suggested that, if we wanted to, we could attend the retreat that they're going to be having in May to understand it a little bit better. So I appreciate that offer.
Certainly, we have, I think it's 2 evenings in May. Susan Duffy, our general manager, is here with me. It's made it's a Monday and Tuesday.
It's Monday and Tuesday, I forget.
It's like the 10th and 11th or 11th and 12th.
We can send that information.
We'll send it
That'd
to
be
you.
great.
But basically, we use our board retreats to kind of work, for some of us to work through some of those issues, particularly like fares. It would appear that we have a fairly high fare structure, but most of our passengers buy passes, which when you think of a fare, if they pay the full face value, they're paying roughly $2 when they get on the bus, $2 when they ride it again if they don't get a transfer, so that's $4 a day. If you're riding it, to and from work, you're looking at something like $100 or more a month. Well, if you buy a fare, it's $50.
Okay.
So, or a pass, it's $50. So all of a sudden you begin to knock that down. If you're a senior citizen, it becomes half of that. So all of a sudden those fares, we don't collect that maximum fare, but that maximum fare drives some other legislatively mandated fares that we have to charge, and those happen to be fairly large money losers for us. So,
Do you know what the percentage is that we do collect compared to the fare rates?
of the fare rate per ride?
Our fare rate is, our total revenues from fares are about 15.8%.
Okay.
And for the nation, it's anywhere between 14 and 17%.
Okay.
Basically, so we're right in that average.
Okay. That's good to know.
A bad analogy would be, paying sticker price for a car. Nobody does that.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thanks.
Sure.
If I may, looking at the handout that you gave us, it shows that wages in this fiscal year are budgeted for $5,002,792, but for 2015, you're looking at $5 million flat. So how is are your employees not receiving any wage increases? There's no increases in benefits? I mean, how are you
we had a
looking
couple
at
of things
static?
happen that helped us. One of them, health insurance dropped significantly for us this year, which was a big money saver. On the flip side, we're going to have to make an increased contribution to Capers Again, one of those things we don't control, but legislatively, I think it's 1% this year, another 1% next year. So we're staring at those. But basically, we're through the reduction overtime. Some of it shifting our paratransit. If you'll look on the other page, some of the ambulatory folks, we have them ride with cabs now rather than us using our buses to provide that. That's a savings of roughly $13 a ride for us. So basically, some cost shifting, if you will, to some more efficient and more effective means of transferring people around town.
Okay, thank you.
One more? Thank you, Mr. Chair. How did you get the health insurance to be reduced?
There's a good question. I think through the staff's diligent effort about what we were being charged and what our usage was, it kind of, if you don't ask the question, you don't get the question answered. So we finally started asking the question. Our usage was low enough that finally we just, enough's enough. We're going to pay something less than that. So we put it out to bid, and basically we got a rebate from last year, and basically our costs went down. I know nationwide some folks would attribute that to the new Affordable Care Act, but basically just some heavy-duty price shopping on our part.
That's interesting. I'm on the Health and Wellness Committee, and we looked at what 501 is doing, and they're reducing their premiums. So I was really interested in how the Transit Authority reduced yours.
Well, and actually Susan worked heavily on that. Probably.
I do believe we negotiated well. We had a lot of interest in our contract. Our deductibles did increase. Excuse me, our deductibles did increase. We negotiated well. We had a lot of response to our proposal, and I believe overall those that came in and visited with us did believe that there would be a slight decrease anyway because of the market, and in fact there was. So all of those things coming together, it was kind of a perfect storm for us to benefit.
That's great, because city employees, I think, it went up 200 per employee for the year. So we need to look and see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I would note that the board did have the staff hire an outside healthcare consultant come in to help us through that process, because that's not something we do all the time. So that helped us significantly in our cost savings.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right,
Okay.
thank you very much. And what is the body's pleasure on the mill levy cap?
Do you need a motion?
I think so, because I have to pass it out so that it
Okay.
can be dealt with at the council.
Well, I would move that we recommend passage or approval of the mill levy that they're suggesting for this year, which is described here, not to exceed 4 2/10 mills for 2013 and 2014, for 2015 and subsequent years, although they may not exceed 3 mills.
Which I thank you for the motion. I may also add that this is the third year in a row, I believe, that we didn't increase the mill levy
Awesome.
expenditure for TMTA. So good work on their part. Is there a second to the
I'll
motion?
second.
It has been motioned and seconded to approve the mill levy cap for Topeka Metropolitan Transit Authority. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. There are no other items to come before the committee that I know of. So with that, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.